Hello. This week there's quite a variety of things going on in the hobby room really. Um, First thing, as you can see on my desk, is I'm going through some of my old armies and basically tweaking them to bring them up to version 3 rules. So basically, if I'll talk you through this and then I'll tell you about some of the other things that have been happening. But for my British Army, what I've decided is for the rifle squad, rifle platoon, going with obviously the leader and 2 riflemen, a medic and a support, a forward observer and a support, and then 3 10-man squads, two of the squads have got 2 light machine guns each, and then the other one's just conventional setup. And for the second platoon, I'm going with an artillery platoon. Again, I've got my leader team here. I've got my 6-pounder, and then the tow for that, I'm going to use my little Bren carrier. And then the next platoon for my British is going to be obviously my tank platoon, and I'm going to be using the Firefly as the platoon leader, and that's backed up with 2 Sherman. I think there's a version 3 and a version 5 there, and then a Cromwell. Now the interesting thing, because you can see it's incomplete at the minute, is I've got the support team for another platoon to add to my British, and that's going to be a Recce team. Right, so let me explain about the Recce team. I don't know whether you've heard me mention it before. I'm sure you have. That, you know, when I'm working away, particularly when I'm painting up my troops, I like to listen to podcasts. And one of my favourite podcasts is the Yarkshire Gamers Reet Big War Game podcast, which is run by Ken Riley. Now, I don't know whether you've ever listened to any of his podcasts, but basically he's a proponent of the large game or big war games, the kind that you see. In fact, he goes to a lot of the shows and does display games. But he basically has a podcast where he invites people from the gaming world on, and they have, you know, like an interview and a bit of banter each week, and it's really fun to listen to. I really enjoy it. Can't recommend it highly enough. But anyway, the reason why I'm mentioning that is because he's also got a Facebook page, and he recently put on a team of 6 British infantry that he'd painted, because he's, you know, thinking about possibly painting in the future when he nears retirement. And he put them on his website, and I thought, you know, being a supporter of the podcast, I thought I had a bit of an idea. I thought I could use them. I don't normally buy other people's. I usually paint my own, as you can see. But I thought this little team of 6, you know, it'd be funny to bring them into my group. So basically, for my Recce group, I'm going to use these that I bought from Ken. Now let me put a bit of light on them and you can see them. And they fit in really well with my own troops. If I bring up, let's just bring up, I don't know, one of these. You can see they are very similarly painted. So they match in really well. But yeah, really pleased with them. And as I say, you know, because I listen to the show, it's just nice to have them. So I thought I'd come up with a bit of a funny idea for my British crew. And in the spirit of his show, I'm going to use these as my recce team. So those 6 are going to go there, and I'm going to christen these my Reet Big Yorkshire Recce squad. So all I need now for it is one of those, I don't know whether you've seen on the Warlord site, the new Kangaroo APC that they're bringing out. So I'm going to put one of those on my Christmas list, and hopefully that'll complete the squad for me, because they'll have their transport as well. So, but yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you. So hopefully in the future, when I do get to the stage where I can start playing some games again, you'll see the Reet Big Yarkshire Recce squad in action. Right, let's tell you some of the other things that have been going on. Another thing that I've been doing this week is going through all my armies and rationalising them for version 3, and just a few little odd jobs really that I've noticed needed looking at. For some reason I'd never painted the base edges on these German grenadiers. In fact, I think I've got some German Waffen SS as well that the base hasn't been painted on. So I'm taking the opportunity to get that done. And then the other thing that I've been doing is obviously, sorting out which of the figures that I'm keeping for my Normandy battles, and just teasing out the last few that were, specifically for the Arnhem campaign, and letting those go. But I mean, it's reluctant, to actually part with any of them really, but kind of needs must at the moment, I'm afraid. And it also feels like I'm kind of getting my armies ready for version 3, and I can start building on what I do want to keep and having more room to lay those out. So although it's tinged with sadness to let them go, I do feel now I can focus more on the armies I've got, and take some time to notice any gaps they've got, for flexibility on version 3, and then plug those gaps. So it's given me a bit of time to appreciate, which armies I've got and what forces I could actually muster on the table. So, it's quite rewarding, really. And this, this little job that I'm doing now, painting the edges of my figures, that's been irritating me for a while that I hadn't, for some reason, painted these. My only excuse is it was fairly early on, and I was desperate to get some armies on the table, and I got the painting done, but didn't finish off on the bases. But hey, a little bit of time now, and that's soon going to be sorted. So that's just another one of the jobs that I've been doing this week. Well, as you can see, I've been fairly busy. Not what I intended to do, but best to get it out of the way so I can focus on the things that I do want to work on. Basically, our boiler packed up just as we're heading to winter. So typical. Anyway, I've had to turn round from what I'm doing to mass produce some terrain to sell, to try and get some money together for the boiler and to get it fixed for winter. So as you can see, I'm mowed out with terrain at the moment, and it's all got to be made yet. Obviously I've carved it, sealed it, base coated it, mounted it on the boards, and now comes the part of having to paint it all up, you know, weather it in and add all the scatter and the grass and the stones and the... So that's what I'm going to be working on for the rest of this week at least, because as I say, I need to get it done. So temporarily all of my buildings are packed in those boxes there, and as soon as I've got these done, I'll be able to start working on my buildings, which is what I really want to be doing right now. But all of this is practice, because I do want to make up some pieces like this for myself for the D-Day beaches. Not necessarily this shape, but obviously for Omaha I'm going to want some hills, and I also, I don't know whether you remember that far back, but I've got some bunkers that I got, what, was it 2 or 3 Christmases ago? So when I build them up, I shall be building them onto a piece of terrain. Well, so they can be put on that piece of terrain. So it's all good practice. So, I mean, I'll probably bring you along to see some of these coming together, just to give you an idea. You've seen me do similar things before, so I won't dwell on it. But we can perhaps bring it in as part of a catch-up video on where I'm at with things. So all my armies are coming together now. The only thing that I'm probably going to have to do is, didn't really want to do it, but probably I'm going to have to part with my winter setup now, so I can just, you know, it'll all be Normandy, because I think that's probably going to help towards getting my boiler sorted, and that's the main thing, because I can always rebuild. So that's where I'm at the moment. Right, I'll speak to you soon. You join me as I'm giving a coat of some grey mixed with Mod Podge to just really go over any of the points missed by the plastering section and the initial sweep. And this also helps to, you know, give it the rigidity that it needs. And once I've got this on all of the pieces that I'm doing, it'll then be about dry brushing more than anything. I mean, you can play around a lot with rocks, as I've said before in other videos. You know, you can, you don't have to go for this standard grey. I'm just doing this because I've got so many to do. But you could go for all, I mean, rocks come in all colours, so, you know, you can blend your colours. Do some wet blending would work well on rocks. It depends what you're looking for, really. I mean, you know, if you were looking for sandstone, obviously, you could go the tiger painting route, you know, with the 3 different colours and then a wash. But these ones I'm just doing, you know, the basic greys, and like I say, I shall do some dry brushing to bring these out a bit more. But at the minute it's just about getting this coat on because you've seen how many I've got to do. And obviously it's not the only project that I've got on, because I've got my own things that I'm trying to work on at the same time. To get through the backlog of some of the stuff that's been waiting for some time. One thing I did do this time that was a bit different was when it come to doing the plastering, I actually added some colour to the plaster, which has made this stage of going over it again a lot easier, because although there's little bits of the white showing through, it's giving a good grounding of colour, so it's made this process a lot quicker. And one thing I'll be fairly sure that there'll be no gaps by the time it's all finished. What I'm doing is I'm just working my way around all the walls first, and then I'll do the flats. Although I do some of these smaller overhangs while I'm going along. A bit of a blemish there, I'll go over that. Right, I think that's gone round that. Right, and I'll just do the flat area. So basically I've spent a morning going through these, and I'm about halfway through at the moment of I think there's about 60 of them in total that I'm doing. Right, I'll add these to the pile, get the next batch. And what I'll do is I'll bring you back when I'm doing one of the later stages. So during the next week or two, I had to really get stuck in on the train and try and get it moving. These are just a few stills with an early stages on one of them. What I try to do is, get a nice blend of different grass colours and styles, and build up a good looking terrain really. And once I've gotten to that stage, it's a question of, I give them a soak to seal everything, and then give them some drying time. So here they are. I'm not going to spend too long on each one because you've seen a lot of my train before. But just thought it'd be interesting to show you a quick glimpse of the finished items. It's been, it's took me quite a while to get them all done. I've, very rarely done that many all in one go. But, I always enjoy this process of finishing them off and getting them ready for, imaginary battles. I think this is a bit of a throwback to when I were a kid, when you start out with the basic terrain, a few books under an old sheet, and, couldn't have imagined stuff like this back when I was first playing with soldiers. But now you can just let your imagination run away with you, and it's, when you've not got anything specific in mind and you're just trying to create something that's, I suppose, what I'm looking for is not just a piece of terrain, but a piece that invites gaming, So there's, multiple ledges on things and slopes to access and all kinds of different places to place your soldiers, you know. So that's basically what I'm looking for when I'm making these pieces. Is just making them fun to play with, really. I've enjoyed it, really. I mean, I know ultimately I'm doing this, to raise money because my boiler decided to break down at the worst time possible. But nevertheless, it gives me a chance to use my imagination and, to practice techniques, you know, different styles, see what works. The main thing now is for me to get these sold off and make some room for some of my own projects because I've got quite a bit building up on that to-do list at the moment. So sooner the better, really. Another little project that I've got managed to get done is these little movement trays that I get from Charlie Foxtrot. It makes, lifting my soldiers in and out of the cabinet so much easier. I just, glue the bases down like this, and then just a question, I just give them a base coat in oak brown, really, just to keep them all standard. Right, so I'm back to a clear desk. As you can see, it's been a busy period. I mean, it's, probably 2 or 3 weeks I've been doing all this. And a lot of the terrain is now gone. And, I'm able to put some of that towards getting this boiler sorted. So, one thing that did occur during the process, as I said, I unfortunately, reluctantly had to let go of my odd end troops. And during the process, I did have one accident. Tragic, really. But I dropped my Tiger tank. I was basically trying to step over Bob and he suddenly decided to move. And I mean, it doesn't look too bad at the minute, but basically the turret broke off. So it's glued. It lost its aerial. It broke the gun off. The worst part of it was it broke all this arrangement off from the turret. And to be honest, I don't really like the look of it now, and I wouldn't have passed it on to anybody. But I thought, I was on the verge of chucking it into the bin, and I thought, no, hang on a minute. I can do something with that. I can make a little bit of terrain. So that's something I'm going to be looking at probably next week. I have started the process because I've glued a little metal aerial back in place. And I've prized open the originally closed hatch. And I'm going to paint that up. And then what I'm going to do, I've drilled, I don't know whether you can see that, through the turret and through the side like it's been hit. I've still to modify that a bit because what I like to do is just melt it slightly as it goes in to give it more of that smooth impact look. And then I'll be looking to create some, impact damage, fire, smoke, and bit of rust and everything before weathering it again. And then I'm going to build it up into a piece of terrain like it's, it's, like I say, it's been took out during a battle. Because it's a shame to just throw it away when it can still be, a nice piece of terrain. So that's something, that I'll be looking at next week. But I just thought I'd share that with you now and before I wrap this one up. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found, something interesting among all the things that I've had to do. It's a bit of a mishmash of weeks, I know, but in a way I feel, it's been rewarding because I've got all of my armies, didn't show them all, but I got all of my armies back out and I, got them into, readiness for version 3. And as you saw, did a few little jobs as well. So, it's been a good few weeks really. I'm quite pleased with where I'm at, and I've been able to expand my Normandy collection out into all 3 cabinets now. So, bad luck with the boiler, but at the end of the day, it's, it's helped me rationalise what I've got and where I'm going. So it's not all bad. Anyway, as I say, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please consider giving me a thumbs up. If you're seeing this for the first time and you want to join me for some more, please do subscribe. And remember to click that bell so you get notifications when the next video drops. Anyway, I'll wrap this one up now and I'll see you again soon. Bye.